My human mind can't understand that long before the world began, in regions yet unknown to man, He was, God was. And it is still a mystery, but I can say with certainty, deep inside the heart of me, He is, God is. And although He's been all things to everyone, there's so much more to come. He is to come.
He was, He is to come. Worthy is the Lamb who sits upon the throne. So let us praise the Ancient of Days,
Who was and is to come.
Kingdoms made by man will rise, but it should come as no surprise when right before our very eyes they fall, and even time itself will end, and Christ will come to earth again, and every tribe and race of man will bow. We will bow, and with the finished work of Christendom, we'll see His kingdom come, His kingdom come.
He was, He is to come. Worthy is the Lamb who sits upon the throne. So let us praise the Ancient of Days,
Who was and is to come.
Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches, and wisdom and strength and honor
Psalm 118, verse number 23 says, "This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our sight." It's hard to believe what God has done in the past year, that He has allowed Chastity and myself to be in Watertown, South Dakota. So we got a burden to come. We talked to a number of pastors, and they said that we need to come out and just look at the town to see if the burden was of God or will be removed. We came to Watertown 3 years ago last week. It seemed that God began to burden our heart more than He ever had before, in such a way that when we're on our way home, I looked at Chastity, or Chastity looked at me and said, "Well, preacher, what do you think of Watertown?" And I think I answered like many a man would, and I answered, "Well, I think I need to turn around and get back to work." And I turned and looked at her and asked her what she would think. With tears running down her eyes, I said, "How do you feel?" She said, "I feel homesick." Well, truly God has made Watertown home. He has made you people family. He has done a great work in these days. No doubt I believe it is the beginning of something tremendous, something that will go down in history as something that only God could do. It's not in our plans, it's not our programs, it's not in our motivation. It's in God doing a work in the hearts of men, women, boys, and girls. I don't think any of us a year ago would have said that we, as a people, would be together in the same congregation. The very God of heaven, who is able to put together, fitly form together the body of Christ, has put together a group of people to do something great here in Cottington County, Watertown, South Dakota, and I believe to reach the world. I pray that in the days ahead we'll see Him do miraculous things, see thousands of souls saved and lives changed, hearts touched and homes put back together, young men called to preach and missionaries sent around the world because of something God is doing. When it's all said and done, I believe we'll have to stop again and say, "This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes." It is not me. It is not Chastity. It is not any of us as members of Harvest Baptist Church, but it is the God of heaven who has chosen to do a great work. And I'm so glad He has chosen us to be a part of it. What a blessing it is to be a part of the work that God is doing.